And your Grid 4 Race 2 of the Sentinel Fire Services Commodore Cup looks this way. Phil Brock will start out of pole position in the reverse top 10. Brett Holdsworth, courtesy of issues in the previous race, will start out of position number 2. Adam Lloyd out of position 8. Tancredi out of position 10. Jeff Waters out of 14th. Should be an absolute ripper of a race with Andrew Parker starting from rear of grid.
So it's race 2, round 2 of the Sentinel Fire Services Commodore Cup. Let's take a look at some highlights. And the Shannon's Nationals roaring into life at Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. Great start for Jason Domashens up the inside.
Yeah, he went all the way from the third row of the grid to second place. Michael Tancredi, as he did in race 1, got the old hip and shoulder out through the southern loop. And got a bit racy there.
Bit aggressive this weekend so far was Tancredi. There is Chick. Oh, Waters. Big trouble. The throttle jammed on the car. He slammed to the back of McGregor. Parker getting all agricultural as well, and so too is Batesy in the WA Freight Group number 24 car. Unfortunately, he got into the tyre barrier. Not Mr. Holdsworth. What a drive.
Yep, so far a perfect weekend for Holdsworth. Things looking really, really good for him. And he won the race for Domashens. Tancredi in third ahead of Phillip Brock, Andrews, Parker, McGregor and Collins.
Phil, talk us through that one. It looked intense.
Oh, mate, it was great. It was a really good race. Starting off on pole because of reverse grid. Did a dud start, which is pretty normal. And then the second corner got punted off and went back to about 7th or whatever. Then had a really good race with young Scott Andrews, who, as his first year in Commodore Cup, he's come from go-karts. Just turned 18 and what have you, and it's really good. We're having a lot to do with him, trying to sort of mentor him along.
The elder statesman of the race, enjoy that. Phil, up against you and having a lot of fun out there. Talk us through your race.
Yeah, it was a good race. It was my first time to the track and pretty much the first time in the car, so I'm just learning as I go. But that was an awesome race. Just I started off third because of the top 10 reverse grid. Got 7th last race, and got a decent start. And then there was a lot of like argy-bargy into turn 2. Got dropped back a few places, but yeah, then caught back up to Brocky over there, and it was an awesome race. We had an awesome battle. It went right down to the checkered flag, and he just beat me by car length. So maybe next time I'll get him.
Time now to take a look at the Grids 4 race 3 on the card. It's Michael Tancredi that starts out of pole position. Last year's champion. He'll be tough from there. Brett Holdsworth alongside. Phillip Brock out of 6th. Bates out of 8th. Matt Chick will start out of 7th. Jeff Walters starts out of 16th spot. And Adam Parker, he will start out of 17, rounding out the grid. Let's go down and catch up with some of the drivers and Julie.
Well, we're just hoping we have a better run than the previous meeting at Wakefield, which was just an absolute disaster for us. So, and even yesterday when one of my guys was out doing a couple of laps in the car just to let you warm it up, and the gearbox exploded. Oh, rotten Richmond people.
Well, he's an old Tiger. Not so much a Tigers fan. Time to go racing, Krause.
No accounting for taste, Wade. Away we go, Phillip Island Race 3, the Sentinel Fire Services Commodore Cup. Good field, competitive as always. The first 2 races have been great. This one should be no difference as car number 1 leads into turn 1.
This is just a tremendous motorsport category. It is so competitive. The cars are fast. They sound great. They're decked out beautifully. And this is always a competitive stoush.
Turn 2's been the scene of some action this weekend. We saw Bates come off there in race 2. Domashens just dropping a wheel off on the exit there. You've got to be so careful to not do that because you'll fire the car off.
Flirting with disaster. There is Parker, who too has been in his share of the wars, into Honda, and here is a run up the inside, the hairy lemon. He would have popped a few of those after the big party last night, I would say.
A very late night, I'm told. So good work for Holdsworth to come back as he did to win race 2. Here's Tancredi, number 1 on the door, and he's right up behind Brett Holdsworth. Just gets the nudge on there, unsettles the back of the 27 car, but Holdsworth held on.
Who's been feeding Tancredi the raw meat this weekend? I've never seen him this aggressive.
Conditions much better for this race, Wado. Pretty heavy rain this morning, but it's dried out. They're side by side as they go to the top of Lukey Heights.
This is a big drive from Tancredi, all over Holdsworth, over the top. They drop down now, and Holdsworth has managed to just hold on, but look at him behind. Domashens is in there, and so is Parker. Oh, jeez! Oh, how lucky was that?
Wow. Did you see how the car accelerated when it got off the racetrack? So wet it is offline. And Stevenson there had some serious drivers.
I'm not sure if he was waving bye-bye or put that in your pipe and smoke it, but either way, he was vivid.
Here comes Domashens too to the outside of Tancredi. He's just slipping back a little bit.
Well, he's a fascinating character like many guys within this category. You see them slide over the top of Lukey and drop down now. Tancredi is all over Parker. They're going to gang tackle the leader here.
Domashens just sitting back in 4th place. You can't help but feel that he's perhaps the dark horse in this one. Tony Bates in 5th, Phil Brock in 6th place, Hughes in 7th and Andrews in 8th. Phil Brock will be hoping that he pulls a bit better form than the Collingwood Football Club that he supports, because they've been average, but he's going pretty well. Race 3, Commodore Cup at Phillip Island.
A couple of young guns too in Josh Hughes and Scotty Andrews in the top 8. It's good for the sport to see these young Turks starting to emerge. The Hairy Lemon car of Holdsworth, the TTM entry under siege again from Parker. And that top shelf number 1.
Oh.
Now, you think Domashens has stepped it up a bit now?
Yeah, just a tad. Look at the cars moving around. Nick Parker got right up on the curb. Now he's got right up on Brett Holdsworth too. They're side by side on the exit of the Southern Loop. Someone's taken their brave pills in this race. Nick Parker goes to the front.
This is a wonderful motorsport category. Tremendous door-to-door racing here, side by side. Maybe doing 170, 180 Ks through there.
Easy in top gear. Now they go on the brakes. Look at Domashens on the outside. They're 3 or 4 wide.
And here comes Batesy as well. So Bates is going to get in there as well. Oh, Domashens sideways on the grass.
Hung out to dry. Tancredi's gone back to 2nd. Parker's dropped a long way back now. Bottle of pills before the start of this race. It's unreal. Great racing. Bates is looking good in there as well. Bit of opposite lock for Domashens. Watching this in the rain on in practice and in race 1 this morning, these cars sliding around. They take a great deal of ability to drive these cars quickly at this racetrack. So this is a real testament to this kind of racing as to how well they're driving away. So he's dropping down through the order from a surefire 2nd place. And on the round perch, that's going to really hurt his position as he tried to win this round. And he's going back even further.
Well, this is not a good issue at all for Tancredi. He needed the points. This is such a tight championship. And there is Adam Lloyd in the number 77 car, always a stout performer. The main contender with Tancredi in last year's championship. And there's Andrews closing in the 44 car, along with Split Pin in the BertieStreet.com car. Now, tell me about BertieStreet.com.
Oh, relaunch of the old Holden dealer team premises there in Bertie Street in Melbourne. So that's a promotion that Phil's running on the side of his car. He's tied up with them in a couple of promotional arrangements. So great to see the return of that iconic brand in Australian motorsport, the HDT. And great to have a Brock involved with it once again.
Absolutely, makes enormous sense, doesn't it? Look at this battle now. We're just dropping back through the field. This is the battle for sort of 6th through to 10th. Collins, good run. The Super 1 karting car gets in through. A nice pass on the 12 entry of Josh Hughes. Not much sponsorship on the side of Hughes' car. He's doing a good job, the young fella.
Look at Collins. He got such a good drive out of turn 11. Slides up the inside of car 44, which is Scott Andrews. Again, another driver having a very, very good run. Current standings, thanks to Shannon's, Holdsworth leads Parker, Domashens, Bates, Lloyd up to 5th place, Brock to 6th, Collins and Andrews.
That last year, up the inside comes the Bob Jane T-Mart Geelong car. Yes, Domashens sideways with Parker, and Batesy goes through the middle.
He saw
tremendous motor racing.
Domashens really sideways in the background, and he's off.
He's gone into the gravel trap. Kitty litter flying akimbo. He gathers it back up. Holdsworth, meanwhile, is oblivious to all this. The TTM Hairy Lemon is flying.
Well, the sun has shone on the Holdsworth boy this weekend at Phillip Island. Despite a late night Saturday night, he's brought his A game to the racetrack today. Tony Bates moves up the order. That puts him 3rd behind Parker. 4th will be Lloyd, and Josh Hughes will find himself inside the top 5. So a shame for Domashens, it was looking really good.
As you said, it's shining brightly for this man. Good to see him back too, because he's been a little bit of a journeyman in this category in the last sort of 18 months. So it's good to see him back and going fast. And a good boy at that.
He is. He's driving well, Brett Holdsworth. And this weekend will be another round win in his impressive Commodore Cup tally. Brett Holdsworth will take out race 3 of the Sentinel Fire Services Commodore Cup. A great motor race there the whole way through. Parker got home in 2nd ahead of Bates, as we said. Lloyd in 4th ahead of Hughes. Andrews, McGregor and Nathan Collins completed the top 8.